I guess first I'd like to go to Representative Escobar. We're hearing a lot about fraud, waste, and abuse here. Can you talk to us a little bit about the money that ICE and CBP have and what is happening with that money, particularly in your district? I know in my district we've had a lot of concerns. I've had a constituent die in ICE custody because he wasn't given appropriate medical treatment.
Thank you, Ms. Scanlon. I'll be glad to detail for this committee what my team and I have seen inside these facilities in my district in El Paso. And again, just as a reminder, CBP and ICE currently have $100 billion unspent. $100 billion, just a reminder to everyone. But the One Big Beautiful Bill, so-called, funded Camp East, Montana, a $1.24 billion tent city. And the American taxpayer is allegedly paying for medical care that detainees are not getting, cleaning services that are not happening, laundry services that are not happening. But the private corporations running these facilities are still getting their money. I want to give you an example of the horrific cases we've seen. I'll give you a couple of quick ones. First, there was a gentleman who entered the country legally, mind you, because the vast majority of the folks I've met have no criminal record and entered the country legally. I sat and I spoke with him, and he told me about an injury he sustained in Minneapolis when he was arrested by ICE in Minneapolis. He was arrested so violently by the ICE agents that they broke his arm. He was then flown to El Paso to Camp East, Montana, and he was wearing a brace when I met him. He had been in the facility for a few weeks. I asked him how his arm was doing. He took off his brace. I could literally see the break in his forearm. His broken arm had never been set. He was given aspirin to deal with the pain. Clearly, after weeks of that kind of break, his bones were fusing in a way that he would very likely need surgery. There are other examples. One of our colleagues, Angie Craig, flew to El Paso to visit one of her constituents who was detained and arrested the week she was supposed to have surgery to remove an ovarian cyst. ICE flew her to El Paso, to Camp East, Montana, held her for 4 months, refused to let her get her surgery. She was finally released on humanitarian parole. It took Senate intervention. She may not ever be able to have children because she was prevented from getting the medical care she needed. I have met dozens and dozens and dozens of detainees who've told me they have to clean their own, what are called pods. Now, some people might rejoice in that, but the company is getting paid to clean these pods, and they're forcing detainees to do it instead. When I have visited, I've seen clothes hanging up inside their pods on their beds because they don't have access to laundry services. Yet Congress is paying a private company to do this. So there are just not horrific abuses happening inside these facilities, but there's massive fraud. Meanwhile, the private corporations who won these contracts, by the way, with no bid contracts. So there was no competitive bidding that took place. The company that was hired to run Camp East, Montana had never run immigration detention ever before, but we're supposed to care for 5,000 people per day. There was a homicide inside of Camp East, Montana. And I still have yet to get information on what the consequences were for the private detention employee who committed the homicide. But the medical examiner in El Paso ruled it a homicide, and guess what? After that, they no longer use the services of the medical examiner. So this money is being used to perpetrate fraud, perpetrate waste, and for inhumanitarian purposes. And many of the folks inside those facilities should not be held in detention at all.